units move between different areas on the paths between them that you can see on the map, and they move in so-called formations. What is a formation? Let's go to an example. Here in the Ottoman Empire, we have a small army of Ottomans, 5 units, 4 cavalry and 1 infantry. Since they don't have a leader, a formation can at most be 4 units. So let's say that the Ottoman wants to move a formation from this area. He then plays a card, the Janissaries, for example, but that's not important. What's important is this number up to the left, which can be used to buy units, but now we're going to use them to move a formation. So that gives him 5 movement points. He then has to select up to 4 units from this area and move them, and say that he takes those 4 cavalry units. And moving one area costs 1, so he first moves to Sofia, that costs 1. Observe that he doesn't gain any movement just because it's just cavalry. Cavalry have the same movement as normal infantry. Then maybe he wants to move to Nesh, costs 1 more, so now he has paid 2. And if he wants to move over a so-called pass, a mountain pass, which is this dotted line, that costs 2 instead of just 1. So moving to Skutari costs 2 more for a total of 4. And finally to Ragusa, 1 more, costs 5, and there he ends his movement. So a formation can be bigger than 4 units if it contains a leader. So if we move to this example with Henry VIII, you can see on the leader, the lower number 8 is his command rating. That means that this leader can, instead of moving just 4 units, he can move up to 8 units. Command rating also decides how many units he can field in battle and in siege. But in movement, it's the upper limit of moving units. So let's check his army. It contains 6 units, so they can't move all of them by themselves. They need the leader to move as one formation. So the British plays the card Revolt in Egypt, but he uses it to move units, so it has the value of 3, so he can move 3 steps if there are no mountain passes. So let's say he moves to Bristol, the whole formation, 1, and then to Shrewsbury, 2, and up to Carlisle, 3. If they hadn't a leader, they would have had to leave 2 of their units down in Plymouth. So how many leaders can lead a stack? You can at most count 2 leaders command rating and sum it and see how many units you can move. So if we move to this example, here you have 3 leaders, the Duke of Alva, Ferdinand, and Maurice of Saxony. Each of them have a command rating of 6. But since you are only allowed to count at most 2, so when moving these 3 leaders and the army, you can only sum 2 of them, and that means you can have 12 units in your formation. Let's see how many they have. They have 14 units. So first they play a card. They play Anabaptists, which has a value of 3, so they can move up to 3 areas. But they can not bring those 2 units, since they can only add up 2 of their command ratings, and that means 12 units. So say they move to Cordoba, 1, then to Madrid, 2, and 3 to Zaragoza. If they don't want to bring all the units with them, they could leave, for example, 4 units in Madrid as a garrison. You can also pick up units on the way, since each move is expanding one of those points. So each move between 2 areas is kind of a separate action. So if we move those to Seville and have it like this, and take the same example again, they pay this card, which costs 3, but now there are 4 units in Madrid. They could, for example, first spend 1 point to move to Cordoba, and now also bring this one, since they are in total 10. That costs 1. For the next point, they move to Madrid, 2. But now they are 14 units again. So maybe they want to just to move as many as possible to Zaragoza. So then the garrison from Madrid joins this army, but they have to leave this unit with 2 factors. And they move the 3rd step to Zaragoza. So that ends the tutorial on movement.